Today I'm going to do a complete transmission flush and fluid replacement. Is that a big deal? Well, a lot of people don't know that if you just drain the transmission fluid from the bottom of the transmission, only about half of it comes out. The other half is left in the torque converter, and that's pretty hard to get out unless you take it to a mechanic and pay him a lot of money to do it. There is a way though. If you're going to do a DIY job, this is the way to go. First, I need you to find out how much transmission fluid your vehicle takes. I have the owner's manual, and it says this vehicle takes 7.6 quarts. Something else it says is only use Honda Premium automatic transmission fluid. You may use Dextron 3 as a temporary replacement. That's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to flush Dextron 3 through this system, run the car for half a day, and then I'm going to do this entire job again with the correct Honda transmission fluid. That's me going over the top. You don't have to do that, especially if your vehicle runs on Dextron 3. You only have to do this job once. Alright, here we go. Let's do it. Okay, start your clocks. 10 minutes from now. First thing I want you to do is reach underneath the transmission and find the drain plug. We're going to go ahead and open that up. Luckily I have the right tool for it right here. There it goes. Alright. Go ahead and put a pan underneath it. Unscrew that. Here comes the oil. Wow, that's really nasty. Look at that. Okay, let that drain. Let's go upstairs. Whilst it's draining down there, go ahead and look at the drain plug. This nasty goop on there, this is actually a magnet. And what it does is it picks up the metal shavings from inside the transmission. You know what? It's pretty often that they look like this. This car has 100,000 miles on it, so it's actually in pretty good shape. So make sure you clean the drain plug off real well. Get all the old metal shavings off of there, and that's ready to go back in. Okay, back underneath the car, I'm going to put the clean drain plug back in and screw it up. Spilt some. Make sure that's nice and tight so it won't come out. Next, I want you to remove the transmission dipstick. Go ahead and put a long funnel in there, and we're going to fill up the transmission with brand new fluid like this. Basically, we're replacing the fluid we just took out of it. Just like that. Next thing I want you to do is find the supply and the return hose that take the transmission fluid out of the transmission into the cooling radiator and then back into the transmission again. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the supply. You're going to have to find out which is your supply and which is your return. I know this is my supply here. Disconnect that hose, just like that. And then pull it off. There it goes. Next, with a compressed air hose, I'm going to blow some air through this line. That's pretty low pressure. So with the air hose, what I just did is I blew all of the old oil out of the transmission cooler back into the transmission. So I'm making sure all the old oil is gone. Next, I'm going to take my own length of hose and I'm going to feed it up under the engine. There it goes. I'm going to find that length of hose, here it is, and I'm going to plug it into this pipe here that I just pulled the old pipe off. Kind of hard to see on camera. This section of hose, nice and snug on there. See that? Now I'm going to take the end of this hose, I'm going to attach it to this receptacle here. In a second, we're going to start up the engine, and that's going to have the transmission pump the transmission fluid into this receptacle. I want you to be able to see the end of the hose right here. When the transmission fluid turns from a dirty dark brown into a nice gleaming red, we're going to turn the engine off. That means it's done. When I start the engine up, it's going to start pumping the old transmission fluid into this receptacle. Now, at the same time, I'm going to be pouring transmission fluid into this funnel. At no point do you want the transmission to run out of fluid, otherwise that could damage the transmission. When the new transmission fluid starts coming out of this hose, you'll be able to see it's a beautiful sparkling red. At that point, we're immediately going to shut down the engine and your flush is complete. I'm going to focus the camera on the end of this hose so you can see the transition and color of the transmission fluid from a dirty dark color to a nice ruby red. Now, you're not going to see me filling up the transmission, but yes, I will be doing that. And as soon as it turns a nice clean red here, I'm going to shut the engine down. Okay, let's start our engines. Make sure you look at the color change of the fluid as it comes out of that hose. See how dark and nasty that is right now? There it is, it's coming nice and clean. Alright, I'm going to shut it down. Alright, this is a little bit of the transmission fluid. Let's have a look. I don't know if you can see on camera, but that is beautiful and clean. Sparkling transmission fluid right there. No dirt in it at all except for the dirt on my finger. That's what we wanted. All we have left to do now is remove this temporary hose. Just like that. Pull that hose out of the engine. Replace the original hose that goes back to the cooler. And, of course, put the clamp back on it. There it is, right there. And now we get to top off the transmission with more transmission fluid. Like that. So we top off the transmission fluid until our dipstick reads the correct level. Just like that. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but we're at the perfect level right there. Okay, our 10-minute transmission fluid flush and replacement is done. That was pretty easy, huh? Saves you a lot of money over going to a dealership or a mechanic if you can do it yourself. Make sure you service your transmission regularly and keep that thing in good shape so it doesn't go out on you. Those things are very expensive to replace. Hey, before I go, if any of you guys are going to be buying a used car at any point, you might want to check this out.